Hello, I'm Dr. Anthony Basil, and this presentation is about the lecturing post for Foundation Art and Design. You can find out a little bit more about my work on my website, abasil.wordpress.com. You can see here some of my background with Adobe as an international education leader for over a decade. This gave me an opportunity to work with a wide range of organizations from Oxford University to the Natural History Museum. I'm also certified as an associate for web communication. I've done consulting for graphic design with an Indian multimedia company called NIIT as a subject matter expert. My doctorate is in learning technology design, which comes in handy, especially during the COVID virus. I've been very active in terms of research for creative webinar design. So the two main points of the presentation are, first of all, to provide evidence of how I would do student support, and then also my art practice. So for number one here, the student support, I have a list of examples of ways that I've provided academic and pastoral support for students. I have done blended teaching, blended learning, where the students are in a face-to-face setting and or online during the session. Weekly team drop-ins are what I would say would be like office hours, but it makes it convenient for students to be able to get extra support. They also have that as a recording. So any of the actions that they need to be doing, having that recording is useful for students that missed the session, but then also with respect to students that maybe say English as second language and would like to review the lesson. Peer support is a big element for my pedagogy, my instructional design. I encourage the students to get a study partner or form a study group. For example, the project students that I'm supervising at the moment would be communicating through the WhatsApp that they've made. Another example of support that I've given the students would be assessment templates. And this means that rather than spending a lot of time on the structure of the assessment, whether it's a report or case study analysis or dissertation, they are able to have those headings already pre-made and they can focus on the content. Now, in this picture, you can see the learning outcomes, and what I've done for my students is make sure that they understand specifically what the learning outcomes are, the key words, and key actions. And finally, what I do is identify any of the dissertations or assessments that are submitted as distinction level to be able to use that for good practice and samples of good work. Okay, now I'm going to go into a little bit of more detail. You can see here that I've got my YouTube video, which is explaining one of my research projects, and that is using a 360 augmented reality camera in the middle of a discussion circle. So you have the YouTube link, and you can also click on this video to be able to see it in action. And the nice thing about the 360 augmented reality video is that it's not a flat two-dimensional video like we're seeing in this presentation, but rather you can click on the image and look around the room and get the perspective of the different stakeholders in the session. So that is an image of the room, and we'll go on to the next slide here. So To go on now a little bit about my art practice, you can see that I have several categories that I'm going to provide you with evidence. Digital art is one area, and this is supported by my work again with Adobe with their creative suites. I've been invited to the headquarters in America a number of times for their summer institute, which gave me a great opportunity to work with the programmers and developers for next generation creative suite tools. I mentioned about the 360 immersive video. So this is an area that I believe strongly will promote creativity and innovation by using Socratic discussion circles. So rather than the traditional way of sitting in rows, students have the opportunity to be able to discuss the various issues and come up with creative solutions. Now, gamification is another research area that I have, and that I'll provide an example of an interactive video that I've made. Finally, my past background is in terms of performing arts as a coach and a judge for Olympic level gymnastics. And I know that the university has a performing arts section, so that also gives me an opportunity to use those skills. So to see an example of my digital arts, you can go to this YouTube link or click the video, which shows an Adobe Spark presentation that I've made for a talk that I did with a company, and this is evidence of my ability to use digital arts and create dynamic presentations. Now, this is an image of a detailed explanation of my 360 immersive webinar design. So here you can see we've got the 360 camera in the center. We've got in the red circle the students that are debating that particular open-ended problem. It might be that they are trying to decide on a creative arts project, and they are debating the best way forward. In the blue circle, you'd have an audience, and those people could then interchange. They would swap seats with the people in the red circle to provide an external point of view. And then the yellow circle represents the virtual audience. And so if you saw in the previous video on YouTube, we would have the camera and the big screen TV right up on the table, so that the students that are online feel part of the face-to-face session. Now here's an example of gamification that I was mentioning earlier in using an interactive video. So again, if you go to my website, where the link is, you'll be able to see a presentation that I've done as a workshop. Now, in this workshop, what I did is I simulated using a live video race game, and that was to give the students an opportunity to understand a pre and post test type of assessment. It's called ipsative assessment. And they were then pressing the keys on the keyboard to simulate the runners going, to be able to then see the difference in that type of assessment model. So you can go to that website and have a play with that video, and that is an illustration of how I've demonstrated gamification in an interactive video. So finally, lastly, you'll be able to see an example of my experience as a gymnastics coach for movement arts, and you'll be able to see again another YouTube video this demonstrates that I'm still active in sports and would be interested in getting involved with any performing arts that is available. So in conclusion, we have three main areas. I have over a decade of experience in higher education teaching, which is a core part of this role. I've been active with research and curriculum development in many positions that I've had over the years. And finally, my experience in terms of digital arts and performing arts is evident from the presentation. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we look forward to any questions or comments that you have. Thank you.